Welcome back to the program, everyone. We're going to jump out to Matthews, a game between Assumption High School and Central Lafourche. Central Lafourche kind of riding on a high right now, been playing well. They need to get a big win tonight against Assumption to set up that showdown next week against South Lafourche. Here we go. Kobe Savoy, the guy we always started off with. He's tackled by a host of Mustangs as he runs that option. He gives the ball off here to Rendell Clark. Not much right there. Here he is again. He holds on to the ball and he's slippery. We've seen a good defense actually by Assumption early on in the game right here. And Assumption gets the ball. Actually, early in the game, it was slow for Central Lafourche as they started to get things going. They really got it going. I don't know if I mentioned that this was in Matthews, but I'm obviously seeing that it is not. There's no stadium on that other side, so obviously this was played over in Napoleonville. Darius Bell runs around right in, gets out of bounds. He is a good athlete, but unfortunately the offense for Assumption just can't get it going as they are stopped for a huge loss in the backfield. Sacked by Ty Boudreau back there, and they turn the ball over. Kobe Savoy runs it in as they move the ball down close, and he sneaks it in. Central Lafourche gets the extra point, and they start to really take off in this game, and it never became a game that was in doubt after this. The Trojans go on to win this game 35-0. They solidify themselves as a playoff contender, 35-0. They now only 2 losses on the year for Central Lafourche. Unfortunately, they are not getting a lot of power points from people like Grace King and Bonneville and even Turlings Catholic, who I thought they'd get a little bit more from. But they put themselves in great situation to play South Lafourche next week on a high. That is going to be their homecoming game. That will be the game to look at. And they can't catch South Lafourche, but I got to tell you, I'm sure they would like nothing better than to spoil it for South Lafourche and make it be a co-championship situation instead of South Lafourche winning it outright. On the other hand, I'm sure South Lafourche would like to switch their record from 1-9 to 9-1 this year in the regular season. Last game to look at, E.D. White taking on Franklin tonight. On paper, this game should not be close. Well, it wasn't just that it was on paper, it was everywhere, although we see a good run right there by Tremaine Johnson. He's knocked out of bounds by a host of Cardinals. Tremaine Johnson again, as he fumbles the ball. It says Damian Bowie is immediately tackled by a host of Cardinals. And here we see the Cardinals going in and getting the ball. I'm not quite sure where we at on the script right here, so I'm just going to play this one by ear. That obviously is a big play by E.D. White. Not quite sure who the runner of the ball was there, or right here. I have no numbers on here, number 17, but I don't have, it doesn't match up with it. So we'll just look at it again like this. Sorry, you folks at E.D. White. Unfortunately, not a good play, as we see that a lot of fields in our area were very, very sloppy. This was a game where we're seeing it kind of go both ways, but trust me, folks, this is late in the game, and E.D. White was having no problems. You see a lot of reserves actually in the game for E.D. White right now. Great run by number 16 right there. Can't tell you who it is. It doesn't match up with anybody on there, so they go around left end, number 9. Let's see if we got a name for number 9. I see number 9 not on roster. Okay, sorry, folks. Number 9 takes it in. You're seeing a bunch of the young kids. This is really late in the game as they had this well in hand. Again, no problems for E.D. White with Franklin tonight. They totally dominate this game. At that point, it was 41-0. It actually ended 47-0. So E.D. White still the only undefeated team in their district. They have a big game against Catholic of New Iberia. If Catholic of New Iberia could come up and nip E.D. White, it would force a 3-way for first place in that district. But I'm sure E.D. White wants to win that thing outright. They could have used some power points from North Vermilion, but unfortunately, Notre Dame comes up and they handle North Vermilion fairly easily. That was last night. 21-0, so no power points for E.D. White in that game. But E.D. White does run their record to 8-1 on the year, 4-0 in district. They're having a great season. Again, a big game against Catholic of New Iberia next week. We need to take our last commercial break. When we get back, we're going to look at the scoreboard and we're going to look at standings, and we'll give you a rough estimate of who's in good shape to get in the playoffs and who pretty much doesn't have a chance. We'll do that after this timeout.